Um, I've been in the space since 2013, and if you told me that I'd be sitting on this panel today back then, I probably would have bought more.
Alrighty, everybody, what is going on? Welcome back to another CYPRX video breakdown. In today's video, we're going to be doing a deep dive on some of the research that we have shared in the CYPRX research chat. I'm going to be covering why I got so bullish on Velo, even more so than I already was during the month of April. Especially when the market was down, we had a significant opportunity to hit some really nice DCA levels on Velo, and so I took advantage of that. Stacked bigger bags, which I already openly communicated to you guys behind the scenes. So we're going to be diving into that a little bit, showing you all the AI agent transformation. That document that we're going to be reading from Velo is going to transition us over into another project that we've been heavily paying attention to, which is Xrpl. And I'm just going to go over some recent developments, some partnerships, take a look at the trading agent terminal, and just kind of walk you guys through some of the tutorials and just give you a perspective looking at all the information that I'm going to cover today as to why I think, the price of the digital asset shekel is going to go up in value as AI agent adoption increases significantly over time, how that all plays a role into my investment schematic. Again, not financial advice, but just kind of painting a clear picture on where my mind is at. And then that will lead us over into kind of like yield aggregation, yield generation, utilizing these AI agents to generate us yield. And I want to show you guys a platform that doesn't necessarily have to do with AI agents, but we've been consistently talking about this idea that for some odd reason, people outside of crypto or that are in crypto and think DeFi is a scam can't come to terms with. And it's that we are about to be operating on a level playing field where traditional financial players and retail traders both have an equal opportunity in this new asset class, right? The digital asset class that is being birthed right now as we speak. And so I'm going to continue to show you guys ongoing developments, recent partnerships that have been announced via a Ripple partner that actually just took place yesterday, as a matter of fact, and just kind of walk through that platform, what it entails. I don't think it is officially available yet because there's still some features and some things that don't really make sense when you click on them yet. So it kind of seems like it's just like a beta or something like that. But still, I want to walk through the platform, look at the docs, and just enlighten you guys on the possible things that we have coming our way in the near future. Keep in mind that in the research chat, I know that it's a lot. You definitely have to put elbow grease in to get through all of the fundamentals that are shared in this chat. But pretty much everything that I'm going to go over today has been shared in this Discord in some way, shape, or form at some point in time. So again, just committing to a research call with you guys, going over some of the stuff that I found that has been shared in the chat and just going over it with you from my perspective. So first, I always like to show documented evidence as to why I build these beliefs and what it is that I do and how I implement capital in the markets. And so AI agents has sparked my interest for quite some time now, not only because I'm a trader and I would love to automate my profitable strategy and incorporate that into an AI agent along with some of the other things that we have in this community like delta zones and dark pools and whatnot, but just because I see that most people in the trading game suck at trading. And so what is that most likely going to create? Pent up demand for AI agents that you can program with a strategy that trades for you, right? And that's just one side of what AI agents are going to be able to do. AI agents are going to be able to automate so many different things in our lives in the future, but because I'm a trader, that's one of the primary objectives in my portfolio and what I'm going to be utilizing AI agents for. And so just looking at some recent documents to start off with, building the perspective and showing you guys that this is happening and it's being talked about via large organizations and nobody can deny this. And if you are, then it's most likely because you're not doing the right research or involved in the right communities that has tapped into the right information. 2025 Tech Trends Report, the 18th edition, Artificial Intelligence. This is from FTSG. One of our CYPRX researchers shared this document, and it goes on to say AI agents are more than just digital assistants. They are quickly becoming autonomous decision makers. Apple is creating an AI-powered coding assistant to compete with Microsoft's GitHub Copilot, aiming to simplify software developments through intelligent code, completion, and prediction. Microsoft's Copilot demonstrates how advanced these agents have become. It understands context, executes tasks autonomously, and learns from users' interactions to provide better assistance over time. In the crypto sector, so it does mention crypto specifically here, tools like Based Agent show even more autonomy and how these AI agents can handle blockchain transactions independently from token transfers to contract deployments. So it mentions names in the likes of Apple and Microsoft, and these are all names that the average common person, can come to terms with. And so that's why I firmly believe that we are on the cusp of mass adoption because it's these large organizations that people are already comfortable with and are household names incorporating AI agents into their backend infrastructure. And so it's going to make it so much user friendly for normal, everyday, average people to adopt these things. It says here AI agents can form consciousness, and solve problems faster and with more diverse perspectives than humans. I want to pause right, but this is the CMO of the Algorand Foundation, if I'm not mistaken. And this was at the staking summit that took place just the other day in Dubai. This still only has 159 views and was shared by Osmar, one of our head researchers. And at about 23 minutes and 50 seconds, he goes on to talk about AI agents in the future and how
network. And so where we see huge opportunities around the proliferation of AI agents and the ability for agents to pay each other. Like everybody knows and everybody believes that the world will evolve to the point where there's going to be more agents than humans. And so you're going to have all kinds of specialized agents that do this or that. And so there's not going to be a single kind of God agent that is able to do everything for you. So there's going to be multiple agents, and people and agents will have to communicate with each other and exchange value with each other. And I cannot imagine that agents will exchange value over traditional bank rails. That's just not going to happen. It's like sending an email through a post office, right? Like it's not going to happen. It requires instant settlement at high speed, high velocity. And so that's where we see the big opportunity, is really enabling a payment infrastructure for agents to exchange value. And that's
the AI agent population will supersede the human population tenfold. And he talks about the different ways in which people will utilize and integrate AI agents into their everyday lives through automatic payments, bill pay, getting paid. And then as soon as you get your payment, having your AI agent deposit your funds that you make on a daily basis because the payment infrastructure is updated, taking those deposits and then putting them into a DeFi yield strategy and enhancing your returns. I mean, there's so many things that are coming, and this guy goes and hits it on the head. Not only does it talk about, he talks about how Algorand is involving themselves in the AI agent field, but he just specifically paints a picture of the future of where we're all headed in terms of AI agents. And so back to Velo, okay? Um, so this is back from April 30th. And again, just kind of solidify my perspective as to why when the market was down, I dumped a lot of funds into Velo is because of my bullish perspective surrounding utility tokens and then also their involvement in other niche categories in crypto and the digital asset ecosystem like DeFi, railroad asset tokenization, cross-border remittances, so on and so forth. And Velo is like a whole package. If you guys don't know what Velo is, if Velo is new to you, definitely consider going and doing your own personal research on the protocol and what Velo is and what they bring to the table. But they posted this: as the market evolves, so do we. Our new PayFi light paper reflects our commitment to adapt fast, stay ahead, and win. So I want to dive into this light paper and read thoroughly through some highlights with you all because it is extremely intense. I mean, there's so many gems to unpack in this document. If you've read it before, you most likely know that, but I really want to highlight some key things that are mentioned. Before we get into that, here is another panel discussion that I shared from Token 249, again, shared in the private CYPRX community, of a lady from a large DeFi protocol. I don't remember particularly, I think it was some type of like perpetuals trading or something platform that this lady stems from. I don't remember her exact credentials. But she goes on to talk about specifically how in the near future, you're going to be able to utilize your yield that you're making from DeFi autonomously or automated and your yield strategy to, pay for day-to-day life, pay for day-to-day activities, bills, maybe a mobile car payment, or maybe even your mortgage.
I think that crypto cards that are tied to your Borrowland accounts have been very interesting. We've had teams build out a, Visa card that takes from your Drift Borrowland balance, where you can actually trade perps with your spending balance, and you can spend with your profits or your yield right away. I like these applications where you're actually seeing use cases in your day-to-day life. We talked about using crypto to buy coffee for years now. And with the growth of stablecoins, the growth of DeFi, now you can use your yield to actually pay for your day-to-day life. And I would like to see that being extended to things like mortgages and things like automobile payments.
All right. And that's insane that she's openly talking about this at an event that just recently took place, which just goes to show that that's where some of the interest is in this space. And this video is going to go hand in hand with what the document says in this Velo AI agent light paper. All right. So let me just stop sharing screen here and let's head over and just go thoroughly through these documents. And then when we come back, after the AI agent light paper from Velo, it'll allow us to transition into why I'm so heavily bullish on Shekel, and we'll kind of get into that. So let's thoroughly read through this again. This is back from April 2025, so still within the last, let's just say, month. Looking through the table of context, it talks about PayFi, DeFi, a whole bunch of different things, but let's save time and get into this. PayFi encompasses the integration of blockchain technology and cryptocurrency into the payment functions and financial services. The adoption of this technology offers numerous advantages, including cost-effective payment solutions, enhanced liquidity between Web3 and TradFi, and more flexible global financial markets. Beyond payments, PayFi also seeks to innovate financial services through the use of smart contracts and decentralized finance DeFi tools, aiming to reduce settlement cycles and optimize capital efficiency. Now, I underscored those two key vocabulary words, DeFi tools, and it enhances or optimizes capital efficiency. That's something that we all should look for, right? Utilizing DeFi tools and then enhancing our capital. I mean, it just makes sense. But people, because they lack financial literacy, will just read this and those words will go right over their head. As we continue thoroughly through this, it goes on to say and talks about a regulatory framework and for the use of stablecoins. Many countries, including the United States, are actively developing a regulatory framework for stablecoins. The goal here is to establish clear regulations regarding their issuance and use, enabling stablecoins to gain traction beyond just the cryptocurrency market. I want to pause right there and take you over to this document. This is the TBAC presentation. If we scroll up to the top of this, this is also back from April at the same pretty much exact date, 30th, 2025, that the light paper was released. And it's titled Digital Money. And this was also shared in our private Discord. The reason why I'm transitioning over to this is because it specifically talks about stablecoins and their implementation in the DeFi ecosystem and all the regulations that are being built out right now and the trajectory of the stablecoin market. And so I just find it interesting that in the Velo white paper, it goes hand in hand mentioning stablecoins being utilized in the future with what this document says. Evolving market dynamics have the potential to accelerate stablecoin trajectory to reach $2 trillion in market cap by 2028. There's that highlight right there. If we continue to scroll down, looking at some other highlights, there's some interesting digital assets mentioned on this document, including RLUSD and XRP. But then it goes on to say and talk about the potential growth enablers that could prompt rapid stablecoin adoption. And one key highlight in this little tiny infographic, it says, interest-bearing stablecoins. The store of value narrative of stablecoins becomes more appealing and unlocks yield-generating opportunities for holders. Right there in blue. By the way, the highlights on this page are blue. If we scroll down here, a couple more little highlights in connection with the Velo light paper. Right here, it goes on to talk about stablecoin use cases, right? And as I mentioned, it says RLUSD, USDC, Tether, some other stablecoins there. But there are 3 illustrative real-world applications of stablecoins that I primarily pay attention to. And it says here, number 1, the first one that I like, it says on-chain settlement. Facilitates trading, lending, right? Lending and borrowing. You guys can literally go and watch the whole lending and borrow strategy that Kevin has taught over the past consecutive couple of weeks, and other settlement-based activities across CeFi and DeFi. And then it talks about collateral. Given the intended price and or underlying reserve stability, stablecoins can be posted as collateral and utilized for on-chain borrowing. Then here it talks about dollar access, where stablecoins can allow individuals in emerging markets to get access to both USD and the yield on USD, acting like a savings account. So what are we already doing in this community? We're treating stablecoin pools or stablecoin yield-bearing opportunities that exist in the market now as like a high yield savings account, or at least I know I am. right? So I just thought that that was interesting and kind of goes hand in hand with what the document here is talking about on this Velo light paper, how the goal is to establish clear regulations regarding the issuance and use of enabling stablecoins to gain traction beyond the cryptocurrency market. As we continue, looking at the PayFi landscape, the PayFi ecosystem is rapidly expanding, featuring numerous projects that introduce innovative Web3 solutions. We categorize these innovations into 5 main areas: application layer, financial services, asset liquidity and tokenization, along with settlement layer and infrastructure. Within this ecosystem, Velo aims to create connections between each product category, fostering a comprehensive network. Specifically, Velo intends to integrate our partner services. This is important. It talks about partners here. I'm going to show you guys how it talks about BlackRock being one of their partners in this document. And we'll get into something that Robbie Mitchnick just recently said at the SEC roundtable. He specifically talked about exactly what we've been telling people, that eventually these DeFi solutions, these DeFi primitives that institutions are already participating in, are going to be available to retail users in the same playing field, the same level playing field. And he specifically said that at the recent SEC TradFi meets DeFi roundtable that we aired live on Twitter. All right. But to continue, it says, specifically, Velo intends to integrate our partner services with our products, offering diverse services across various categories. For example, we focus on financial services related to supply chain and trade finance, asset liquidity, and tokenization, especially in liquidity provision. Liquidity provision, being a liquidity provider, right? Infrastructure through stablecoin payments and cross-border transactions, the application layer, which includes payment gateways and AI agents, as well as settlement solutions. This is where it talks about Velo's new direction and ecosystem. It says, at Velo, our mission has always been to facilitate smoother liquidity flows between traditional financial systems and Web3. PayFi represents the culmination of our insights and developments to date. Here are the key factors that closely align with PayFi. I'm not going to get into these in detail because it'll take up too much time. It talks about technical alignment, complementaries to the ecosystem, geographic advantages, alignment with industry trends. But right down here, it says, moreover, Velo is known to the outside world for cross-border payments. So after strategic planning, Velo will update its narrative. Pay attention. This is not coming from me. This is not speculation. This is directly coming from Velo saying this. And remember, I've told you guys in previous calls, think about what Ripple's been doing. They've transitioned from broadcasting this cross-border remittances use case that Xrp delivers to this whole institutional DeFi narrative. And I believe that that's for a reason. I believe that DeFi is going to be utilized as a way for institutions to really truly onboard into the space because it unlocks real utility for these digital assets that can be used now, right? Outside of waiting for regulations, institutions can utilize these assets in yield-bearing strategies right now. They can't use them, however, to facilitate cross-border transactions right now. And so DeFi is going to be a way for these institutions to onboard into the space while they're waiting for the rest of the infrastructure to catch up to actually be able to utilize these digital assets for other utility services. Okay. So it says all-in-one PayFi infra, building the PayFi network around the world. Velo will create an AI-driven global real-time payment and financial inclusion network, becoming the intelligent payment layer of the Web3 era. Our goal is to connect 1 billion users to the decentralized economy through innovations in technology, scenarios, and compliance, facilitating the transition of cryptocurrencies from speculative assets to essential financial infrastructure. Here it goes on to talk about the ecosystem of Velo's PayFi system. Mentions infrastructure layer, and then it goes into detail about all the different things that, is housed in this infrastructure layer on the Velo protocol. I just want to take your attention to 2 primaries. Here it mentions the AI agent for PayFi application. And then it also mentions the stablecoin payments and DeFi, right? So I just showed you guys kind of the connection in another document where they're talking about what stablecoins are going to be utilized for in the future. And here you can see both of those 2 things incorporated into the future vision for the Velo protocol. As we continue to scroll down, it mentions Velo PayFi products and expansion directions. And it gives an overview of the Velo PayFi ecosystem products. And then right down here, this is where it's going to tie in to what that lady said.
I think that crypto cards that are tied to your Borrowland accounts have been very interesting. We've had teams build out a Visa card that takes from your Drift Borrowland balance, where you can actually trade perps with your spending balance, and you can spend with your profits or your yield right away. I like these applications where you're actually seeing use cases in your day-to-day life. We talked about using crypto to buy coffee for years now. And with the growth of stablecoins, the growth of DeFi, now you can say you can use your yield to actually pay for your day-to-day life.
So right down here at the very bottom of this infographic, it says PayFi plus AI equals PayFi AI. PayFi, right? Narrative first, building next. Then right down here, let me zoom in for you guys. It says there's going to be a Velo PayFi agent that integrates external payment agents or agent frames into Velo protocols such as Velo Finance, Orbit, or Wallet, etc. And it's going to allow automatic payments via text or voices in natural languages. This is massive. It's right there in the documents. And so it just goes hand in hand with what the gentleman from Algorand said, how the AI agent, population is going to supersede the human population. You're going to be able to utilize your AI agent for multiple different things. The lady going on to talk about yield generation. And here this engulfs both things, both AI agents and yield generation into their PayFi kind of like Velo protocol ecosystem. Then to continue, it also talks about down here other things a Velo protocol enables. Collateral for USDV and cross-border payments where users can stake and earn Velo to earn rewards. It talks about Orbit protocol, where it supports cross-chain interactions and efficient payment solutions and incorporates AI to enhance payment processing. So again, you're going to be able to utilize this to pay your bills, to pay your mortgage, to pay your car, to do whatever you want to do with your day-to-day transactions. Velo Finance offers DeFi services including swapping, farming, and staking. It provides OTC lending aggregators to enhance liquidity. And then the wallet that they have allows features like EOA and embedded wallets for user-friendly on-chain activities and integrates Velo agents for enhanced user services. And then last but not least, it mentions the PayFi agent and the development of agents to enhance user experiences in PayFi applications and how it aims to empower functionality within the ecosystem. We're about to wrap this up here in just a second. We're getting to the BlackRock part. Don't think I forgot about that. Here it mentions by leveraging Velo's established payment ecosystem and the capabilities of AI agent applications, we can concentrate on several key areas. Payment routing optimization, liquidity management, smart contract automation, fraud detection, personalized financial services. That's a big one, personalized financial services, customer support, compliance management, and cross-border payment enhancement. The integration of PayFi and intelligent agent technologies, I underscored this one in red, will enhance both the efficiency and security of the payment system, right? So you have this certain onset of people. We'll pause right there. Let's read that again. The integration of PayFi and intelligent agent technologies will enhance both the efficiency and security of the payment system. You have these people on the internet that just yap. They give their opinions and they yap. Oh, AI agents aren't shit. DeFi is no shit. It's all scam, right? I get it. AI agents and DeFi, there's a big portion of it that is a scam. Don't get me wrong. But the mature aspect of it is, for a fact, being integrated into the financial system, the core banking system, and it's enhancing the current system. So uneducated people are the ones that yap, that don't understand that this is actually an enhancement of what we already have access to on a granular scale. And everybody should be encouraged to learn more about this because it's the way things are going to go, whether you like it or not, right? And it's only going to move without you at a very rapid pace over the next consecutive couple of years. Looking back in 5 years, it's going to be like we were hit with a train, and who knows what the heck's going to happen in the next couple of years. It's going to be insane. So this, in a nutshell, this Velo PayFi's application possibilities and all this graph right here. I mean, there's a whole book. I'm not going to get into every single one, but in a nutshell, I put my note here. It says pretty much every single thing in this graph right here. If you want to know what these AI agents on Velo protocol are going to be able to do for you in the future, every single thing here in this list is exactly what they're going to be able to do, right? So I'll just read a couple of my highlights. It says here, the AI agents are automatically going to be able to execute payments related on smart contracts, such as timed payments for conditional releases of funds. Here it says, for events such as salary payments, a company can schedule auto payments for the first of every month. When the data arrives, the agent automatically triggers a smart contract to transfer 1,000 Velo from the company's wallet to the employee's account, requiring no human intervention. What did I say a second ago, right? Literally word for word in the document. So, these are all the things that this Velo agent is going to be able to do. There's a whole list of them. Highly suggest you guys go through and thoroughly read it. As we continue, so to wrap this up here, there's two videos I will add in. One is where Robbie Mitchnick talked about how institutions are going to need to provide these services, sitting on stage with Apollo's Christine Moy at the tokenization event that I believe Wormhole hosted back in March or February of this year. Christine Moy openly discussed exactly what I've been talking about, how she's going to be able to earn rewards and yield up to the very last moment where she pays Nobu for her food. And then Nobu is going to be able to take those funds and then go earn yield on the back end on that, right? And she leans over to Robbie Mitchnick, or I don't remember the gentleman's name sitting next to Robbie Mitchnick, but he says, hey, as a bank CEO, how are you going to keep up pace with what Christine Moy just said? And Robbie simply just goes, well, we're going to have to offer those solutions to our clients.
What that means is that every last penny of my earnings is fully invested in yielding without me actually having to do anything. And then, if I'm having Nobu at lunch and basically I use my securitized debit card that's connected to my securitized wallet, basically like, okay, here's like $100 to Nobu, that's an automatic swap of $100 out of my BIDL into US dollars, into USDC off ramp, like CU0 hash, off ramp to pay Nobu. And then essentially, like, that means not only is every penny of my earnings deployed, it's deployed up until the last second of which I actually spend it.
So you're a banking CEO, and you just heard this great explanation from Christine. How do you prevent your bank from getting bypassed by some of the things that she's talking about in terms of products?
You have to provide that because they have the incumbency advantage to do that.
That's number one. Number two, just recently at the SEC roundtable, Robbie Mitchnick, sitting again next to Christine Moy, along with a couple of other representatives from like Franklin Templeton and some other large organizations, goes on to talk about how right now they're in the process of testing this out via an institutional level, and that eventually it will become available to both retail users and institutional users.
Our tokenization agent in that space. We think tokenization agent is a more suitable term here than transfer agent in this context. And what a stable value yield fund issued natively on a blockchain enables is the breaking of a long-standing trade-off that investors were forced to make between liquidity in terms of a cash asset that could be used in real time for settlement or payments, and access to full yield. In this case, we have seen the enablement of full US Treasury yield through the tokenized yield fund, but through the properties of digital assets that make it possible to convert instantaneously into and out of stablecoins, which function as digital cash, that in effect the investor no longer makes that trade-off between yield and liquidity and has the real-time efficiency of both. Today, that's accessible just to institutional investors, but we are optimistic that in time that will become accessible to investors of all sizes and types. Today, that's accessible just to institutional investors, but we are optimistic that in time that will become accessible to investors of all sizes and types. And also,
and he specifically was talking about the BlackRock BIDL fund. And so right here it goes on to say in this Velo light paper, multi-asset collateral to generate stable credit USDV will become an important part of PayFi's new narrative. Remember, this is that new narrative that over the next consecutive couple of years, Velo protocol is transitioning to, which they just said in their document. It not only increases the value of Velo tokens, you see this right here. It not only increases the value of Velo tokens, but also introduces real-world assets into the ecosystem, making the cooperation between Velo, BlackRock, and our LAO or Laos partner, right? That's a huge statement right there in their document. So to wrap all this up, in the next 2 to 3 years, so it gives you a good perspective on how long this is going to take. This is not some bullish Moonboy hopium breakdown. I'm not saying that Velo is going to be worth 50 cents tomorrow, but in the next 2 to 3 years, when all this kicks off, could it be worth 50 cents? I have a firm belief that it's possible, right? And I'm not going to play the inverse opposite side like I'm scared, like it, if I put some money in Velo and it doesn't happen, I'd rather take the risk than not, is what I'm trying to say. Velo will prioritize the expansion of real-world payments use cases, particularly in the Southeast Asia region, before exploring opportunities in other markets. Our progress will be influenced by the clarity of regulations emerging around stablecoins and cryptocurrency payments, both locally and globally. However, we believe we have a viable path to penetrate the market Within the current regulatory landscape, if these initiatives succeed, Velo is poised to become a major provider of Web3 financial services technology, serving hundreds of millions of users and advancing cryptocurrency from marginal innovation to mainstream infrastructure. Dang, I freaking nailed that PDF, y'all. Come on. I don't think I stumbled all but like 2-3 times. Water break. Hold on. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, we have this idea, and I've kind of like built this kind of like future trajectory that AI agents, to some extent, are going to be pretty damn important, if you ask me. Now, the time frame, the time horizon as to when that's going to be, that's up for debate, right? I mean, none of us could put an indefinite number on what year that's going to be or whatever the case. But regardless, over the next consecutive couple of years, we're going to continue to see these things expand and grow rapidly. So one of the projects that we have recently been paying attention to in the community, and then we got into very early on, even did an interview back in the day with one of the lead developers from this project, CYPRX. And a lot of us were able to experience some significant price appreciation. And so in this post here, to get into the CYPRX spectrum of things and just kind of look at what they're doing, the partnerships, the developments, and why I'm so bullish on CYPRX and Shekel, the digital asset, think about what the Algorand CMO said, how the AI agent population is going to outperform or supersede the human population. Okay, that's insane. And in that particular video, he mentions how AI agents in the future, they're not going to transact with each other with cash. They're going to utilize digital assets. They're going to utilize crypto. They're going to utilize smart contracts. They're going to utilize all these things that these projects are in the process of building out right now. And Shekel, if you ask me, is ahead of 90% of the AI agent launch pads in the space right now. I mean, right now you can deploy 50,000 units of Shekel, which I believe is about $500, and you can build your own AI agent. And they have been cooking. They have been trading. They've been partnering, and their agents have been performing very, very well, which I'll get into in this video breakdown. So in the future, if we assume that, again, we're going to operate in a world, in an environment where everybody's going to have a personalized agent, or to some degree, the people that are involved in the market are going to want to have one. And Kosher Capital is a successful AI agent launchpad where an individual can go and build their own AI agent. That to me screams pent-up demand long-term for Shekel, the native digital asset of the platform. So I said here, if you hold Shekel, you are a main character in the matrix. Hundreds of percentages in the green, over 98% of crypto right now, and that's a fact. Halfway through 2025, it posted more gains than any meme coin, than Bitcoin, and any utility coin almost combined. Ask yourself why. Not hype, no hopium. They have done this by leading the charge in the field of AI agents. When everyone else was fearful, Kosher Capital stayed focused, goal-oriented, and kept on building. Now everything that Kosher Capital has done over the past few months is catching up to price. The crazy part is the masses still have not caught on yet. Imagine when Kosher Capital gains 20,000 followers on X or 50,000 followers on X, right? And people really start to catch on to AI agents. Thinking that the market cap could go from where it's at now, again, not giving you guys price projections, but 10 million where it's at now to 50 million to 100 million, in my personal opinion, is extremely possible. Not trying to give you guys hopium or hype. It's just realistic. As long as they continue to stick to the path in which they've been on, which is straight up cooking and partnering with some of the best minds in the game, I have a firm belief that they can accomplish that. So this was an interesting recent post. We are thrilled to see this live. This is posted from Loki AI. Kosher agents now run on Loki's real-time TA engine with custom 1 minute, 5 minute, and 15-minute data feeds, plus higher time frame insights. So you might be asking the question, what is Loki? Well, let's go take a look because it's pretty crazy when you look into it. So here is their X profile. If you guys want to look yourself, I'll obviously, of course, share all this stuff in the chat for you guys in the Discord, so that way you have it. But let's just read through their website and then look at their docs. So about Loki, it says Loki is a quantum analysis, that might be important in the future, just saying, LQA that transforms raw blockchain data into actionable intelligence by combining technical indicators, on-chain activity, and sentiment tracking. What do we do here in the private community every single day, every single morning that gives us an edge ahead most of the retail crowd? We do the same thing. We track sentiment. We look at on-chain activity with institutional scalpers, deltas, and dark pools, right? And this platform right here says gives developers, traders, and investors the predictive insight that they need to navigate the ever-changing market. Number one, Loki allows for seamless API access, multi-chain intelligence, and no-code analytics, making real-time blockchain insights accessible to developers, traders, and DApps. Number two, Loki's AI-driven trading model will evolve into a fully autonomous portfolio management system, optimizing strategies. I like that right there. Optimizing strategies and executing trades with precision. The future developments for Loki will introduce revenue sharing mechanisms, allowing Loki token holders to benefit directly from AI-powered trading profits. So just to read a little bit about them, you can come over here to their docs. I like their docs. It's all very transparent. I went through their fact page. I always do this when I go and look at a new project. Look at the docs, looking at the roadmap. The roadmap was solid. Looking at the product tutorials, the Loki terminal, the AI agents, the team, and just going through and thoroughly reading about Loki. So I'm not going to do that in today's video breakdown, but I'll make sure that I share this so that way if you guys are interested, you can go take a look at it. But this I found very interesting because it's a about 1 minute and 30-second long clip walking through the Loki terminal, and it is pretty insane. Kev, actually, I think that you and maybe Carlton would really like this. Also, maybe Aqua, maybe any other individuals that are involved in like building an AI agent. But this platform is pretty insane. So definitely go take a look at this. I just dropped this in the AI agent chat, and it just goes over thoroughly real fast what the Loki terminal allows a user to do. And it's a lot. There's a lot of metrics to track. There's a lot of things that you can incorporate. And I just have a firm belief that at some point in time in the future, we're going to stick to utilizing this platform in some way, shape, or form. Moving on to solidify what I was saying, and it's that I have a firm belief that, Xrpl itself is a platform that is making numbers in this space. I mean, major headwinds, if you ask me. They just actually posted out. I didn't pull this up, but let's just go over to Xrpl real fast. I find this very interesting. They just posted this a second ago. Give me a second. Let's pull it up. Okay, it says Xrpl's trading engine right now powers over 95% of all on-chain trading agents in the market today. And they just launched November of last year, right? So it just goes to show that they are, for a fact, cooking, and eventually that's going to continue to gain traction and people are going to start to pay attention. Not Ether Matt, which for the record put out a very good tutorial and how-to video breakdown on how to navigate and operate the Xrpl platform. So definitely go follow this gentleman. I'm not going to do a full walkthrough on the AI agent platform today. We're going to click thoroughly through it a little bit, but he did a very good thorough breakdown on how to build an AI agent. So I won't replicate his material. But he said here, my personal trading agent is ranking 4th in this week's trading agent competition that was hosted by Xrpl. And so if you go through and you thoroughly look at this, right, just going to the home page, clicking on launch a trading agent, click get started, and you can see right here it says to create a personal fund right now, it requires a 50,000 shekel fee. That equates to roughly about 465, depending on fees, maybe $500, give or take, to create a personal fund where you can create a personal fund managed by an AI agent, and it allows AI-powered trading, performance tracking, token whitelisting, risk management capabilities, customizable strategies, and position management. So think about this in terms of everything that I've shown you guys so far. AI agent demand is going to continue to grow and scale for well-sourced, well-rounded, well-established AI agent platforms that people can actually go and build an AI agent on successfully. And it already costs 50,000 shekel to do this. So imagine if shekel's market cap goes to 50 million. Well, it's going to go from it costing $500 in shekel to build an AI agent to $5,000. That's insane. And I have a firm belief that in the future, it's going to be that way. So I just wanted to show you guys that. You can come over here on their website. You can click their tutorials. There are some good walkthroughs on how to utilize this platform. There's about 10 videos for you all to go through, 10 tutorials on how to build an AI agent. You can come over here. You can also look at their dashboard. What I really like about their dashboard is everything's pretty transparent. The public funds, the home, the thing I like the best is this leaderboard, right? So you can actually physically see the P&L and the fund value of these AI agents. So like, the weekly P&L of the top trading bot right now, or trading agent, I don't want to call it a bot. I honestly feel like in the future, if you call an AI agent a bot, it's going to be disrespectful and they're going to like spam your Twitter or something. So don't do that. But you can see, right, this AI agent Big Will, the value at the start of the week, which is, to start of the week, if you was just what, 4 days ago, 3 days ago. All right, so his value at the start of the week was $1,476. The current value of his account is $1,658, which obviously, of course, is not a lot. His profit for the week so far is $181. So whatever this gentleman did to code this AI agent on Kosher Capital, he has now proved, again, obviously, of course, there's no longevity here, but still in a week has made his AI agent make him $181, right? Which is pretty crazy that this is all live. You can go do this right now. This is not in beta anymore. This is not like, this is working. And it's only going to continue to scale. And I have a firm belief that they're only going to continue to grow, regardless of what you believe in terms of religious. Obviously, of course, it's a very Jewish platform. I get that whole annotation, but put that aside. Let's just look at this in terms of technology. Kosher Capital has the upper hand right now, in my personal opinion. Moving on, okay? And obviously, of course, they're not the only one. There's some other favorable ones out there in my, that we've done research on, but I firmly believe that Kosher Capital is standing out amongst the few that we pay attention to. Okay, moving on. Last but not least, let's wrap this up because it is almost 6 o'clock. So I think I've kept this under an hour, which is pretty outstanding if you ask me, because I thought it was going to go on much longer. So Zonix, all right? Zonix, this was also shared in our research section. Posted this just 4 days ago. Our partner Ripple has just released their latest report, Tokenization Trends and Businesses and Beyond. And I just wanted to cover this for you guys real fast for us XRP maxis out there, whatever you want to call us. It says here, with $2 billion on public blockchains, Archax and Ondo Finance are deploying XRP ledger technology to tokenize money market funds and U.S. treasuries, respectively. These low-risk investment vehicles show promise for higher yields than stablecoins, allowing investors to maximize returns while minimizing risk in their portfolios. I just thought that was cool that it had something thoroughly to do with the XRPL. But moving on here, this was posted, and what's really sparked my interest is when I scrolled to the top of Zonix's page today, just doing my research, I saw this was posted from 9 hours ago. And I have this like list of key vocabulary words in my head that always just like spark my attention, and new world or new era is one of them. And so sure enough, Zonix just launched this platform. On their profile. It says Zonix and New Era Finance, powering the secondary market for real world asset tokens. So I want to get into this announcement because this just happened yesterday, May 13th, 2025. So this is fresh. Zonix and New Era Finance unite to unlock the secondary market for real-world assets. And why this is important is because if we go back to the document from Velo, talking about AI agents, yield generation, where I played that video breakdown from Robbie Mitchnick. You guys obviously, of course, can't listen to it, but I played the video breakdown of Robbie Mitchnick from BlackRock on stage at the SEC TradFi meets DeFi Summit just like 3 days ago. And he said that we are building this out in such a way for retail users to use the same primitives that institutions are utilizing right now, right? And this is exactly that platform. So at least that's what I'm getting from what I'm reading. You know, I could be wrong, but that's what this thing says. So it says real world asset tokenization movement is accelerating with over $1.5 billion of on-chain assets ranging from US treasuries and gold to venture debt and private equity. By the way, if we can use this platform, I will 110% be figuring out how to utilize this in my portfolio in the future. Maybe not now, but I'm definitely keeping it on my radar because this is going to freaking blow your mind. We get access to stocks, commodities, equities, treasuries, like everything combined into one platform. This is, watch when I show you guys the user interface. It's pretty crazy. Yet even as issuance grows, the markets still lack on one critical piece: a scalable compliant secondary market for trading these tokens. Zonix, a leading provider of tokenization infrastructure, has enabled New Era Finance to close that gap. Built on Zonix's regulatory grade DICIST protocol, so it is regulatory grade, I like that, and powered by Completo, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, which is a compliance engine for New Era Finance. It introduces a decentralized non-custodial marketplace optimizing for trading and real-world asset crypto, including security tokens, tokenized commodities, and yield-bearing assets. Right down here, it talks about how it delivers access to top real-world asset tokens, including USDY, USDL, Pax Gold, and it's across right now 8 different networks, including the likes of Arbitrum, Polygon, Ethereum, so on and so forth. Pretty much all the top DeFi primitive protocols. These capabilities are designed to benefit Web3 treasuries, DAOs, crypto native traders, and users in emerging markets seeking access to tokenized assets and yield strategies previously reserved for institutions. Do you all see that right there? I mean, this is literally an announcement from just yesterday, and we have been screaming this at the top of our lungs, myself and Aqua, for the past year, that we are about to see an emergence of TradFi and DeFi come together where we are going to operate on a level playing field with these institutions. Now, maybe they're still going to have the upper hand in the back end to some degree, but who cares? As long as we can generate, similar, if not the same yield that they can, I could care less what they do on the back end. If they're getting 15% on stablecoins and we can get 15% stablecoins, I'm gonna shut up and take advantage of that and not complain one bit. That's just me, right? Zonex's compliance first infrastructure allows us to focus on product design while ensuring everything we built, every token and every swap meets the highest standard for token security and regulatory alignment. So just to go through and look at this platform, like I said, this is the interface. And as I mentioned, it does look like it's still being built out because a lot of the things say coming soon, like it says analytics coming soon, top pairs coming soon, transactions coming soon, but you can still kind of click on things. And so over here in this drop-down menu, look at this. It says explore US treasuries, stablecoins, global bonds, private credit, commodities, institutional funds, stocks. Wow, right? I mean, if we're able, and you can see some of like the logos on here. It says Algorand here. I mean, like I said, I don't know what any of this means yet, and I'm sorry that I'm ignorant on it, but I just stumbled across this during my research, kind of like debacle this rising. So I wanted to just show you all that if this is something that we can maybe incorporate or pay attention to in the future, I know I am. You can see here it says XRP Ledger right there, right? So there's a whole bunch of things you can click around on this. Definitely go through, maybe just keep it on your radar, something to keep on the back burner. But if we come over here and we look at the docs, right? So the docs, again, very transparent. I read the fact. You can look at how it works, look at the legality of things, look at the pre-launch campaign and, the time horizon for all of this stuff yourselves. Look over their key mission and whatnot. It says New Era Finance, incubated by Uniswap Foundation, is revolutionizing the real-world asset industry as the definitive secondary marketplace, establishing itself as the premier destination for real-world asset investments. New Era Finance is a secondary marketplace for the new era of finance that offers investor transparency of streamlined access to real-world assets through comprehensive and secure interfaces. We are live right now on 6 different networks. I think they need to upgrade that because it is now 8, but then they mentioned the networks that they are available on, with over 200 plus real-world assets available across various categories, including US bonds, global bonds, commodities, stocks, and currencies. Then here it says New Era Finance provides a non-custodial investment platform that allows users to automatically, I like that, and this kind of full circles to everything that I've been showing you, that this is all going to be compact in an automatic strategy that we're going to be able to deliver to an AI agent to take care of us for in the future. Now, who knows if that's going to be on Kosher Capital? Who knows if that's going to be on Codex? Who freaking knows? I'm just showing you all that this is happening. New Era Finance, like I said, provides a non-custodial investment platform that allows users to automatically invest in diversified portfolios of real-world assets. The platform leverages Uniswap v4 hooks, so it's something that a lot of us are already familiar with because we utilize Uniswap. TWAMM, the time-weighted average market making, and price oracle to enable seamless automated investments with dollar cost averaging and oracle-based limit orders. That's a mouthful, but it sounds really freaking cool. Something like, that I want to incorporate in my investment schematic that's just kind of automatic and I have to do nothing with in the future. So here it says their target audience, excuse me. And this is where I'll kind of wrap it up here. Web3 business raising and holding, managing capital in stablecoins, using real world assets to generate passive and secure revenue. I highlighted that in green because that sounds literally like exactly what we're already doing here. We're 10,000 steps ahead of 90% of people because we've been doing this for over a year now, right? Consistently and profitably. Deegan users. A lot of us just experienced the Deegan side of things for the first time in this community, right? It says here, Deegan users, crypto native crypto natives who use real world assets to de-risk from volatile crypto assets as a store of value, collateral for DeFi protocols, and utilizing them to exchange currency. And then last but not least, emerging markets, crypto agnostics using real world assets for inflation hedges against currencies like the Turkish lira or the Argentinian peso. And then last but not least, it says right down here, building wealth is a habit, right? So I'll wrap it up there. That is all that I had for you guys today in a nutshell, starting at the top with the Velo light paper, talking about AI agents, incorporating automatic yield generating strategies, heading over to Kosher Capital, looking at some of their developments, some of the partnerships that they're going through right now, how they are, in my personal opinion, one of the top tier launch pads for AI agents right now, outside of a couple, maybe a handful of others that maybe we're not paying attention to or that already exist that are kind of on the scale of possibly, competing with them, and then rolling over into a platform that we are all going to be able to use, according to their documents in the future to generate these strategies in stocks and bonds and in real world assets and commodities. I mean, the future is so exciting. I get excited about this stuff, and albeit to some degree, we're not incorporating every single thing here. There's still things that need to be worked on. The Velo protocols, obviously, of course, switching up gears, heading into AI agents and DeFi primitives. Kosher Capital just recently launched. You still got to build out an AI agent, show and prove that it's profitable, so on and so forth. And then this platform just recently launched yesterday. So all of this stuff is in the works, but the bottom line is that it's happening and it should not be ignored. And so, as the leader in this community, I feel like it's my goal that when I pay attention to things like this, to share them with you guys so that we all can do the same. I know that it gets a little bit hectic in the research channel. So when I come across interesting things like this, when I have time, I will definitely continue to commit myself to giving you guys these types of breakdowns. I hope that you all enjoyed. Keep in mind that all of these documents can be found in the chat. I will go thoroughly through right now, copy and paste all of them in there so they're fresh in case you guys want to look over them. That's my spiel for today. Hope you all enjoyed. For those of you all watching this as a recording, I don't know if I'm going to upload this publicly or not, but if I do, smash that thumbs up button and subscribe. Outside of that, that's all I got for you guys. I'm going to hit the end record button there, and I'll leave the floor open to community questions for a second before we roll over into Kev's call.